All right.
Shall we
Angela,
begin?
you're new. You're our guest today, so why don't you reach into the classic Red Hood helmet from our first Nightwing video.
Neat.
Oh, man.
All right, cool. Happily. All right, so just open it. And
Yeah.
read it? Okay. All right, so the question is, what video game would you make into a movie if you had the budget? And Jan?
Oh, it comes from Jan.
Jan?
So
Okay,
I guess
yeah.
Jan wrote this
So
question.
Jan wrote this question for us. Thank you, Jan, for the question. It's actually a really good question.
So what was it again?
So, what video game would you make into a movie if you had the budget?
What video
Oh
game?
man, so many.
Oh man, I feel like my answer is going to be so obvious.
Oh yeah, But go
Obvious
for
to
it.
us, but probably not to everybody listening.
Unless you follow me on Twitch, then everyone's probably like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, people
But-
can follow you on Twitch?
Oh yeah.
What's that?
What's your Twitch handle?
Self promotion, you know. Yeah, no, but I am a Twitch streamer, so it's at Lady Doombots is my channel. But yeah, I stream a lot of like Overwatch, Monster Hunter, Nintendo games, stuff like that.
Dope.
But
So which movie
Yeah.
would you like to see made?
do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for
Okay,
it.
so I would definitely say Monster Hunter. I feel like Monster Hunter would be an amazing game to see done in live action, especially if imagine the spirit of a movie like Jurassic Park, but with Monster Hunter. Imagine the monsters looking the way that they do in Jurassic Park and the hunters having to engage with them the way that they do in the game, and just everything surrounding that. It would be a huge budget needed for that though, because the CG and possibly animatronics for the monsters, the costume design would be insane, the weapon design, just everything in terms of set design, location would be over the top.
Would you want it to have the feel of a Jurassic Park movie, like a fun adventure, or would you want it to be a little bit more dire, like maybe Lord of the Rings, or?
I think a little bit of I like how Jurassic Park kind of is a little bit of both, where it's
Yeah.
it's fun and it has its moments where you can kind of laugh and smile, but there are those scenes where you're like, oh my god,
my
that
goodness.
person just died, or that person almost died,
Right.
because that's very much how Monster Hunter is, especially in the more recent games. They've been making it a little bit more story driven, and there are NPCs that are kind of comedic relief
Nice.
and are really silly, but then there's also those really intense hunts where you're like, oh my god, it's getting real right now.
Dang.
So I think that would be just incredible. I imagine that kind of movie would cost at least $2 million. So
A couple million?
couple
Thinking
million.
a couple $100 million.
Couple
Yeah.
$100 million. Yeah.
The costumes alone, I think, would cost $1 million or two. Oh god.
Now, for those who aren't super familiar with Monster Hunter, what kind of story would they tell here? Would it be a hero's story trying to accomplish something? Is hunting monsters just to feed yourself and your family? Is it
Isn't Monster Hunter where you hunt men?
Oh, I
Wow.
see what you did there.
So, but you go in and is it you follow the are monsters attacking villages and the heroes are trying to defend? What kind of story would we see in this movie?
I think it would be cool. So one thing they do in a lot of the games, the general premise a lot of the time ends up being kind of what you said, where it's there are monsters attacking villages, and a lot of the villagers and the hunters that are protecting those villages that are kind of small factions in each area don't really understand why this is happening and why it becomes such a prevalent issue. And ultimately what I think would be cool to see end up happening is the main character joins up with all of these different hunters from different villages, and they kind of team up, start fighting these other monsters off, and then eventually find out it's a giant elder dragon that's sending out all those monsters, and the ultimate enemy is that elder dragon that they have to go and fight at the very end. It's gonna be a huge, crazy monster.
Dope.
Fighting the bad guys in order of badness.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it starts off, you see a couple little Jaggy or something like that, and then eventually it's you see something like a Tetsukabra or something, and gradually the monsters just get kind of bigger and bigger until eventually you get something huge. And in Monster Hunter, the elder dragons are literally so big they don't even fit. So when you're playing on a 3DS, normally you can see your monster in one screen, but sometimes the monsters are so big that all you see are parts of it, and you're climbing around it trying to hit
Shadow of the
different parts.
Colossus.
Yeah, like Shadow of the Colossus. I've never played that, but I have heard a lot of people
Yeah.
say that it's similar. So I feel that would be how the Elder Dragon has to look.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. So it's an action adventure type story.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd want the comedic relief in there, but I'd also want it to have those moments where it's oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Super
So
intense.
yeah.
Cool. What about you, Noel? What kind of video game would you like to turn into a movie?
I would love to make Ocarina of Time into a movie.
Oh,
I would love to make
yes.
Ocarina of Time into movies because I don't think that game could be in one movie.
That
can
seems
see
like it would be
that.
an awesome series.
Yeah, I would prefer a series, but if we're talking about movies, so I would pick
Yeah,
movie.
for sure.
What were we
So
gonna say?
I just had an idea. What about Majora's Mask, but open it or let it play out kind of like Memento or like non-linearly
Oh.
time jumping?
Huh.
That would be stressful.
Yeah,
I'd
that
be
is
so stressed.
very stressful. Just an
That is
idea.
an interesting concept. I've never beaten the game, so I don't even I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you how I would make that movie because I don't even know how that game ends.
That game was
Same.
really
Yeah.
difficult.
I never
man.
beat it either. I
that's-
couldn't do it in the time frame allotted. I was like, every time, like Ganon's big face just kills all of us. Dang
I hate
it.
when that happens.
Yeah.
I would make it feel like I would make it look and feel like Game of Thrones in the sense that the sets and the costume look really just lived in and gritty and a part of this world. I wouldn't make it as dire as Game of Thrones. I would make it feel like what's a,
Lord of the Rings.
no, not even that. I would make it feel like a bit like Peter Pan, like really lighthearted, but still like the adventure is very serious, but Link is very lighthearted. That's
Have
how
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen Legend of the Guardians?
the animated
Oh,
Zack
yeah,
Snyder?
yeah. With like, what was it? All the like mythical story creatures.
Oh,
and
not
stuff,
Zack Snyder.
right?
The one with the
Is that
one
it?
about the one about
by DreamWorks.
Frost?
Yeah,
Yeah, Jack
Yeah,
Frost.
yeah. That movie was
and
so good.
Yes.
Santa Claus was
Those
Santa Claus
situ-
Russian or something like that.
Yeah. Those, or I'd say the tone of that, it's pretty, or the tone of the story is dire, the circumstances, but it's still a lighthearted animated movie.
Yeah.
And it mixes the two really well.
Yeah. Pitch, the villain in that
Oh,
movie, was
yeah.
awesome. I loved him.
Yes, that was a very underrated movie.
It
I
like
agree.
it didn't
was.
get a lot of press at all, but that was like a
Yeah.
really well put together movie.
I loved that movie.
What
Forgot
about
it.
what about Link? Is he gonna speak?
Yes, I would definitely have Link speak for sure.
Yeah.
I would have two actors. I would have him as a kid, and I would have him as an adult. Is he an adult at that point? Like
He's
what
like
is that?
17, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Then
Because
I-
it's 7 years in the future, and I always thought he was 10 when when he like drew the Sword of Time or the Master Sword from the shrine in the Temple of Time.
Yeah.
And then it jumps forward 7 years, and then now he's.
I would make him a 12-year-old boy, and then jump to 22.
That seems like it makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
solid.
because
Yeah.
I would want him to specifically be right before he's a teenager.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd say Uncharted, the Uncharted series.
Oh,
The Uncharted
that'd be cool.
series is like it's made as a movie already, and we don't have a modern day Indiana Jones vertical in the movie space anymore.
Who
So
would you want to play him?
there was rumors of Marky Mark playing him, and I was
know
like,
about that.
I don't know about that
Yeah,
Marky
it's a little
Mark,
odd.
but
What about JGL?
JGL, I can't see him doing it either. It's got to be someone who
A little bit more rugged, I think, than that.
a little bit more rugged,
Yeah.
still like handsome, but like rugged and.
How about a Hemsworth?
A Hemsworth could be a good choice. Chris Hemsworth could be a great choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, he seems like especially seeing him in Thor and Ragnarok and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like I
Yeah.
feel like he could capture the Nathan Drake persona.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Really witty, but still really like, I don't know, agile and like,
Charming.
good at what he does. Charming. Yeah.
One-liners just like all over the place and just like really good one-liners.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all his one-liners are so good.
Yes. Yeah. I've only watched, I think I saw you play. Which one were you playing? a while
Uncharted
ago?
4.
Yeah, that one was really good. Like it reminded me a lot of what is it, the zombie game that we all like from PS4.
Dead Rising?
No, the one that's really Last of Us.
Last of Us.
It kind of
Oh,
reminded
yeah,
me a
yeah.
lot of Last of Us, just a lot less heart wrenching.
same developer.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog.
Yeah, all of their games,
Naughty
like it's literally like you're playing a movie already. So I feel like if they were to just stick to the source material, it would make an amazing movie.
And now that they're done with the game series, this is a prime opportunity to bring it back as a movie because now fans would love to see either those stories retold as a movie or like a complete reboot in I mean, I don't know, that people might get really upset about that and want it to continue the story
Yeah.
or whatever, tell other adventures
That
with
could
this
be
character.
cool.
But
Yeah.
like or different characters within that universe, and maybe Nathan Drake is a character in the story, and it follows like Chloe, who's another treasure hunter in the series. It's like
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe her. What if like it was like his kid, his son?
oh, his daughter. I think
Or
they have a daughter.
They have a daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they had a kid at the end or something.
What's the
Yeah.
daughter's
Okay.
name?
I don't know because I beat Uncharted 4 and there's like an epilogue at the very end that I keep meaning to play and keep forgetting about.
Fair enough. If before we wrap things up, if there was another game that I can turn into a movie, it would definitely be Halo.
Oh man.
Man.
Because I remember hearing the rumor of that being a movie, and I was excited for 5 years, and it never happened, and I'm still excited, and it's not happening, and I'm gonna go cry.
Oh.
They keep and the thing about Halo is they keep announcing it and saying like Halo's happening.
I'm just like, no, it's not, man.
And then it's like, and then it doesn't happen. Halo's happening.
so
We're doing Halo.
sad.
Neil Blomkamp's gonna do
so
it.
many names have been attached: Peter Jackson, Neil Blomkamp, Ridley Scott, and just like, where the movie at, man?
Where's the movie
You keep
at?
saying these things, but nothing's happening.
Yeah, it's like and they haven't even canceled it either. Jared, what do you think? What games would you create? Turn into a
Mass
movie?
Effect.
I knew you were gonna
yes,
say
yeah,
that. I knew it.
That
But-
was my runner-up. That was my runner-up.
Not a movie. I want to do it as a series, and I want it to follow. This is original idea, but kind of like shifting the lore a bit.
Okay.
Following it will take place after the original Mass Effect trilogy, and follows Commander Shepard's daughter. And I want her to be the lead, and her trying to live up to,
Her father's legacy.
father or
mother.
mother.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah,
can
that's
be either
true.
way.
Yeah.
Mother's legacy as being the first human Spectre, like
So
that would
Oh,
be
man.
cool.
Do you think that there's a way to make Shepard in that universe, like, not gender specific? So when they refer to Commander Shepard, your main character's
It could be
parent,
either.
they refer to
only as Commander Shepard.
Commander Shepard or your parent or
That would be
or this or
cool.
that, just as a way to
Interesting.
keep it gender neutral. So that way,
pretty hype.
if you played male or femme Shep,
Yeah.
you get the
You
experience
relate either way.
Yeah,
Yeah, you like
that
watch
would be
the movie.
really cool. That's a really cool idea, but I think I would want to commit to one gender just as a story point. Like I want to be more specific, and there's certain things that I want to see, like I don't know, family pictures or like statues and or name badges and stuff like that. You know, just in the universe to help you feel like you're in her shoes.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Makes
know?
sense.
What if, like, in her bedroom, she has all of her collections of like her model ships
That would be
from the
cool.
captain's room?
Aw.
Man, those games are awesome.
I loved those games.
Any final points before we reach into our helmet and grab the next one? Man, I would turn so many.
Yeah, it was
So
really,
many.
it was hard to
Shinobi.
pick.
I want to do a Shinobi movie. That would be
Shinobi.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you know what else I think would be cool? Yakuza.
Yeah.
Like getting a really dope, like Japanese mafia movie, like
Yeah.
in the style of Yakuza, just not as like, beat 'em up, obviously.
Right.
Do
like
they still have the
story-driven.
powers?
Oh, that would be amazing. If they did, it could be kind of like Scott Pilgrim-y, but like way more serious.
Dude, we should turn that into a video.
Didn't you want to do a Mega Man movie
Oh,
or
yeah.
series?
I've wanted to do a Mega Man movie for the longest time, but like I just have no idea how you could honestly make that, how you can be truthful to the source material and tell like a super awesome story at the same time in live action.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're gonna have to let this we're gonna have to, I don't know, keep dreaming, and hopefully they make video
know.
game movies awesome.
Yeah.
They're apparently going to make a live action Monster Hunter, but I've heard some things that make me kind of like iffy on it. So I don't know. I'm hoping that it ends up being good
Yeah.
if it happens.
I guess we'll see.